This central Queensland town was once the biggest gold producer in the world. The old timers took home a staggering $50 billion worth of gold, starting under the watchful eye of its first manager, Wesley Hall. We're going to have a bit of a look around the town and see all the facilities it's got for you if you want to head out there. Local expert Eric's going to point us in the right direction to the creeks and areas where you can go prospecting yourself. We'll attempt to follow the path of some of the old-timers by exploring the publicly accessible land in the Dee River and some of its offshoots. And when we get home, we're going to try out our new Aussie-made Blue Bowl, which is going to separate the gold out of our pay dirt. This is Mount Morgan, Queensland, still one of Australia's biggest gold-producing regions.
Tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above.
The first thing to do when you visit a gold town is to visit the local prospecting shop. And Eric at Mount Morgan Outdoors has everything you're ever going to need. It's right on the main street, and most importantly, having a chat with him is going to reveal to you where the best locations to find gold are.
Well, there's more to Fossicking than just Fossicking areas and GPAs, because there's state land that is open if you've got a licence, and like rivers are all open except for when they're signed otherwise, or if they're in national park.
Yep.
So using resources like Zero Globe and all that sort of, which you know about, that's where you can figure out where you can go, who owns it, what authority controls it if you do need to get.
And so what else we've got? Struck Oil Crossing. So the Dee River runs around Struck Oil.
Well, that one there
Road.
shows you can see where the freehold land is, or land leases. So obviously you can't go into someone's land without permission, but the river is open to the fence line. Now that can be 300 metres wide in some parts around here.
Yep.
But you just make sure you stick to where you can go, because normally there's fences at the top of the bank to prevent you from going onto someone's land, but you still got to be careful and make sure you aren't trespassing.
The first area we're going to look at is the Struck Oil Road area, and it's about 6 k's out of town, and you just turn off the Burnett Highway. Now, Struck Oil Road runs down here and up that way, and there's another little road that runs off called Archer Road, and in between there is a place called Doolan's Crossing, which we are going to go to, and the whole area is like, it's probably about 3 k's long. Now the Dee River itself crisscrosses around Struck Oil Road, and in most places it's 50 to 100 metres wide where you can get in and do your searching. Now, it's surrounded by freehold properties, which means like land that people own. But if you have a look at like the Dee River, you can see like an edge of the river there and an edge of the river there, and it's the same all the way through, which means that's your area where you can access, and you can get in there from various places around Struck Oil Road and at Doolan's Crossing. And I'm going to just draw in really good parking spots. There's one here. There's a little track that you go down there, and that's good if you're going to sort of set up. You can access creek here and park just here. And importantly is this one, Doolan's Crossing, because there's a big water section here, no matter how dry it is.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? How am I gonna be an optimist about this? We were caught up and lost in all
Well, there is literally thousands of big rocks in this place, and you're not going to have a shortage of places to dig. But the things that you're going to have to bring with you, that I would recommend anyway in this dry area, is a little shovel. The little shovel is going to be handier because you're not actually trying to get through a section of water before you get your material. And this little bugger, the Tiger Claw, I love it. It's Australian made, and it gets into all of the little places that you need to get into. Now, it's sold as a crevicing tool, but it's a lot more than that. Because of the angle of it, it makes a really good lever to lever out rocks that you can't just move with your hand. It gives you a starting point, and I just get into areas like this and just loosen everything up, and you can loosen the area around, say, a big rock, and then get your little tool in here and get some initial movement out of the thing, and then, like in this particular case, you get that bigger bastard out the way, and it opens up this area behind a sizable rock. So I'm going to be digging in here for a bit, hopefully collect a couple of buckets worth of material, and I'm sure there'll be something in my pan. Well, it is so dry down here near this first crossing that I've had to buy a little laundry wash bucket, and I've got my pay in here, but I can only fill a small pan in this thing, so hopefully we can get through a few more pans in any given day, but this is all we can do here. I like it. Into the cottons bucket.
Even the old timers struggled with the dry weather out here, and I found a photo of them using the single to vortex gun to try and encourage precipitation. So I've gone down to Eric's shop to see if I could get myself a vortex gun, but he didn't have any in stock, so I've had to resort to collecting water from like puddles like this one. Interestingly, this puddle, it's sort of the start of a track that goes for about 100 metres, and we'll drive up there and take a look because there's a nice little area to park, and we'll walk down the creek a bit further down, and you can see what it's really like when there's no water running through a place. It's good to look at all the nooks and crannies and rocks and sort of how they form in a dry creek bed.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How am I gonna be an optimist about this?
Well, what I've generally found is you take the first foot or so of overburden out, and then you get down to a little bit, an area where it's a little bit wet. It's not quite like clay, but that's where the pay dirt that I've taken away and panned off that contains little pieces of gold is. It's where the soil gets a little bit wet, or it's almost like clay. You want to get on the intersection of the loose gravel and clay. I think the little nuggies are sitting on top.
We were caught up and lost in all of our vices. In your poses, the dust settled around us, and the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love.
Boulder Combe. How far is Boulder Combe?
Boulder Combe's about 15 minutes from here.
And there's Gavial Creek runs
Yeah.
alongside National Park, so that area should be okay.
Well, there's only a limited area you can go there.
Yeah,
The rest is National Park, and you cannot go in National Park on Fossicking.
We're going to have a look at this Boulder Combe area, and it's down Mount Usher Road. You come down here and you just park at the end, and there's a little pathway that leads down here. Now, the area of the creek where we go is here, and it butts onto Nasho Park, and There's lots of big boulders all through here, and we are only going to be careful not to venture into the park, which is here, but there's a sizable region where you can get to collect your material.
Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? How I'm making to be an optimist about this. How I'm making to be an optimist about this.
Most of the year down Gavial Creek here at Boulder Combe, there's water running, even enough to put a sluice set up in. But today there's bugger all water, so I'm just going to gather a couple of buckets worth of material and take it down to Doolan's Crossing, where I know it's a little bit wet.
Where do we begin? The rubble or our sins? Oh, where do we begin? The rubble or our sins? And the walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? Oh, how I'm beginning to be an optimist about this. How I'm beginning to be an optimist about this. If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed?
Now, just at this crossing here, I've come across some ancient First Nations people art. They're saying that this site is about 33,000 years old. I'm thinking it might be a little bit younger than that, but it's certainly at least 3,000 or 4,000 years.
Walls kept tumbling down in the city that we love. Great clouds roll over the hills, bringing darkness from above. But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been?
The new Blue Bowl Vortex Pro. So the old Blue Bowls worked really well.
Yep.
This is an upgrade model. They're printed down in Melbourne. Comes complete kit, your pump, your bowl, hose with fitting, so you don't have to go look for anything. Your leg levelling kit. The beauty of how they've designed the leg levelling kit on this one, whereas the other one was pretty non-flexible, is the sliding part here goes through. Then you mount that clip on the bucket, so you can go to different size buckets, which is handy.
Feel like nothing changed at all. And if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like you've been here before? Oh, how I'm beginning to be an optimist about this. How I'm beginning to be an optimist about this. If you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?
I was surprised how busy Mount Morgan was when I first got there. It's a humming little town. There's a lot of transient workers working in the mine, which is reopened. There's a good grocery store and petrol stations, but there's no 24-hour fuel. And if it's not panning that you're after, but metal detecting, there's a new GPA that's been open, a prospecting area where you can head out to. And for accommodation, well, with the transient workers, it gets pretty full, but there are 2 caravan parks where you can pitch a tent or maybe grab an unpowered site. And if you're looking for something a little bit cheaper, you head out to Boulder Combe and just go for the $5 campsite out the back of the old pub.
Does it almost feel like nothing changed at all?
first thing I did before I whacked my material down the blue bowl was to classify it to 50 mesh. You want it a little bit smaller so that it goes down smoothly. Then you got to level her up, and that's a pretty important step. And once that's done, you shovel in your material. I put about 5 tablespoons in at a time and sort of run it for a while. It takes about, 20 minutes to run it down to the point that you feed the next lot in. Don't forget to put your dishwashing material in there so that you can break the surface tension, because if you don't do that, your finer material is going to float away. Slowly crank her up and sit back and watch. I was just pretty eager to get this Vortex Pro Blue Bowl because it's made in Australia, and I just think that as Aussies we should stick to Australian made products. Like, why wouldn't you? I love these little cannonballs that were rolling around at the edge of the Blue Bowl. It's like pretty cool to watch. And after you've shoveled all your material in there, you shut her down and you get the material out into a pan and see what you've collected.
So this is our cons after it's been through the Blue Bowl. A lot of the black sand is not there. We're just left with these Mount Morgan bits of ironstone. But underneath it should be all the nice little bits of gold that were caught up in the Blue Bowl and the little cannonballs. Well, I spent 2 days around the place. Probably at least a day was tied up with looking for water and filming. I reckon I put in 5 hours of panning all up, and there we go. It looks like about 0.5 grams worth of gold.